Good morning. This is Mo from Mo in the Deep End, and we have got all the news for you. And yes, I am wearing Hatchet Face, Lori Vallow's favorite baby ponytail. I even try to give the beachy wave. Uh, I was going to call it the bitchy wave, but there we go. So I hope you guys can join me for a ride on the Petty Express. We are going to go over the two hearings with Lori Vallow at 9:30. So it is going to be here because I have a kiddo doctor appointment. So let's get some morning hellos said. Thank you, Wolfram, as always, for doing your modly mod duties. You do yeoman's work, and I thank you so much. And for all listeners over on the big green machine, if you know what I'm talking about, I am simulcasting there. So if you do not like the YouTubes, I am endeavoring to put everything on the other channel as well, if you know my talking about. Good morning, Tammy Bogard and Christine Fortuno, and Audio Coffee, Tammy CA, and Colorado Mountain Girl. Let's see here. Janie J and Alice G, and Factual Life Fedorowski. Welcome, welcome, James Montgomery, and everyone. We start off with, well, excuse me, just a sad, sad story. I don't know this person from the Yankees, but as a parent, I can't imagine anything more devastating than losing a child, especially on a vacation. But it looks like there are some answers as to why Yankee greats Brett Gardner's teenage son passed away during a family vacation. It looks like they are saying that asphyxia may have played a part. So, former Yankees outfielder Brett Gardner's 14-year-old son died of asphyxiation while on vacation with his family at a Costa Rican resort, according to a report. Miller Gardner was staying at the upscale Arenas del Mar beachfront rainforest resort in Pacific Coast, a tourist hotspot, Manuel Antonio, when he fell seriously ill along with several members of his family, local officials told Inside Edition. Now, local investigators said the teen's sudden death may have been a result of, quote, possible intoxication after apparently ingesting some food, according to NBC News. Now, the preliminary cause of death has yet to be confirmed via autopsies and an autopsy and toxicology report. Juan Pablo Alvarado, an official with the Costa Rica Judicial Investigation Agency, told the outlet. Now, officials are currently working with the family to transfer Miller's body back to the U.S. The U.S. State Department confirmed to the Post that Costa Rican authorities are actively investigating his passing and closely monitoring local authorities' investigations. Now, out of respect for privacy of the family and loved ones during this difficult time, we have no further comment, that particular department said. Now, Gardner was a speedy outfielder who played 14 years in the Pinstripes, including during the Bombers' 2009 World Series championship, and retired in 2021, since living with his family in South Carolina. Quote, we have so many questions and so few answers at this point, but we do know he passed away peacefully in his sleep on the morning of Friday, March 21st. Gardner, 41, and his wife Jessica said in a statement announcing their young son's death on Sunday. Miller was a beloved son, a brother, and we cannot yet comprehend our life without his infectious smile. He loved football, baseball, golf, hunting, fishing, his family, and his friends. He lived life to the fullest every single day. We're so thankful to all who have reached out to offer support and encouragement during this difficult time, and we're confident our faith, family, and friends will help us navigate this unimaginable loss. Our prayers go out to Miller's teammates, friends, as well as to all the other families who have lost a child far too soon as we share their grief. Now, I will say that there is a song that will break your heart, and look, I cannot listen to it unless, look, I'm in full Hallmark Kleenex mode, but oh gosh, what is his name? Craig Morgan, the Father, my Son, and the Holy Ghost. Craig Morgan also lost a son, and I'm not trying to take away from the Gardener's loss, but that song is so incredibly moving and healing and speaks to the depth of grief when you unexpectedly lose a child. And maybe there's comfort in knowing other people have been there and know your pain. I don't know. But that song is just a heartbreak and a half, but you can really feel the grace, bravery, and pain when he goes up on the Grand Old Opry to sing this song about losing his son, and maybe that's a song that could help them. I don't know. I tend to get my emotions out more in songs than actually being able to verbalize them. Maybe I'm a scotch like Stacy and I just can't explain my feelings. That being said, I hope that this family gets all the support and all the help. I can't imagine losing, a young, promising child, unexpectedly on what was supposed to be a family vacation. So I hope they get the answers they need and can get home so they can do what they need to do. Well, on that vein, and for parents out there that are wondering what they're going to be anxious about at 3 a.m. this week, a new expose or what children are doing, college and high school kids are getting, away with on spring break in Florida. Apparently, there is the certain law tuber nasal powder. There is the ganja. There is something called Molly, and it is just everywhere. Just everywhere. These kids are going nuts. Now, I do feel a bit like Helen Lovejoy. Won't somebody think of the children? Because I'm sure that all of us have had a crazy, nutty teenage sort of vacation where we did stuff that we still haven't told our parents. Because regardless of the statute of limitations, you're still a scotch scared that your mom might get a wooden spoon out, that kind of thing. But it is more dangerous now. There are things where if you get the wrong pill or whatever, you could be passed away. So it's hard to have a mix of both. Okay, kids are gonna kid, but this is a different playing field now. Now, ganja and fruit-scented tobacco wafted above the sea of the sweaty spring breakers packed onto the deck of Harpoon Harry's in Panama City Beach, Florida, Thursday. Tennessee frat boys lifted two bikini-wearing 20-somethings onto their shoulders, while a pink-haired Gen Zer waved a Coors Light as a man twerked on all fours to a heavy bass remix of Van Hale's Panama. Dear God, that sounds like the inner level of hell. Change my mind. Just no. We had to take 5 knives today, a bulletproof vest clad security guard told the Post of confiscating weapons from a group earlier in the afternoon ahead of rapper G-Eazy's performance. I know none of these people's names, and I feel better for it. Oh my God, your mom is so proud, ma'am, with the sparkly butt pants. Very good. Your mom is going to put that in the Christmas letter. She is going to be just so proud. Yes, and let's see. Alex is in his dental program last year. Melissa is working on her residency, and Janice showed her hoo-ha in a bright, sparkling pair of hot pants. It's going right in the Christmas mimeograph letter, I tell you what. Ma'am, stop it. For the love of all that is unholy Cheetos. This spring break along the Gulf of America, where the Post can report that kids are smuggling the Ricada powder, ecstasy, and ganja from other states, dealing it on the street, flashing fake IDs, and downing Miami Vice frozen cocktails in Stanley Cup-sized portions before, getting all horizontal. Ick. Again, this looks like the 3rd level of hell to me, possibly up to the 7th. Now, there are no shortage of shirtless, horny young men on the beaches. Okay, how is this news? This seems like every other damn spring break. This is a Helen Lovejoy article, but do be careful if you're a teen. I know my analytics shift more to the get off my lawn, done with everything, Gen X or, okay, ma'am, ma'am. Look, as a fella fluffy, sorta chunky, ma'am, just ma'am. No, no, look, I have cellulite. My daughters have apparently been blessed by baby Jesus himself, so they don't have cellulite. Now I don't know how that happens, because if CRISPR ever comes to be a thing I can use on the regular, I'm getting those genes. But no, just no. Someone should have been a friend and told her no. So there you go. Make sure your kids are smart. Make sure that, you've made it so they understand that all of this ridiculousness is something that could lead to bad stuff. It's not, terrible to have fun and be ridiculous when you're young, but there's overdoing it. So there you go. I don't have any more to say other than thank God my girls can't go to, spring break, because, well, they would have to use their money they're saving for other things. Now, in more kind of headline news, new details are emerging in the search for a missing South Korean family who disappeared after visiting the Grand Canyon during a winter storm. Now, a family of three has been reported missing after traveling to the Grand Canyon during an extreme winter storm last week. The Coconino County Sheriff's Office in Flagstaff, Arizona, shared a missing persons flyer featuring Tae-hee Kim, Jung-hee Kim, and Yejeon Lee on March 19th. The sheriff's office noted that the group was last seen traveling from the Grand Canyon area to Las Vegas on March 13th, and that they were driving a 2024 white BMW rental car with the California license plate number 9KHN768. In an update, police clarified that the age of the travelers, Tae-hee, was 59, Jung-hee is 54, and Lee is 33. John Paxton told ABC News that Tae-hee and Jung-hee are sisters, and that Tae-hee is Lee's mom. Now, the women were supposed to fly home to South Korea out of San Francisco on March 17th, but their family hadn't heard from them and became concerned when it was confirmed the group was missing from their flight, Paxton said. Now, Grand Canyon National Park posted on March 14th that winter storms had caused hazardous conditions around the park the day before. On March 8th, the park warned on Instagram that a couple of storm systems are expected to impact the Grand Canyon region next week, and named the potentially much stronger storm to hit on March 13th. Now, the missing persons flyer also noted that the car's GPS showed that it had been traveling westbound on Interstate 40 at around 3:30 p.m. Pacific time on March 13th. Officials noted that pings on the group's cell phones indicated they were last traveling in the same area. Now, neither the rental car's GPS nor the women's phones have shown any activity since March 13th. Oh, well, thank you so much, Rachel D. And Anima Rampier, Gone Wild, does need new footage. Is that still a thing? How in the hell does Joann's Fabrics go out of business with my patronage, honest to goodness? But, Girls Gone Wild hasn't been, I don't know, shadowed by all the hub creations. I mean, I guess it's still a thing. Who knew? I don't feel so old. And if I didn't say it, congrats on the new job. I'm having a little bit of ADHD. Scotch. The big concern right now is a major accident had taken place on the interstate very close to where the ping was located, Paxton told ABC News, referring to the ping given off by the rental car GPS and the group's cell phone. Law enforcement said that there was an accident involving 22 vehicles that occurred on I-40 around the time of March 13th, but it is not clear whether the family or their rental car was involved in the crash. The Arizona Department of Public Safety said it was a weather-related fatal collision that resulted in 2 fatalities and 16 injured people who were taken to hospitals, although the victims' names have not been publicly released yet. It was our major concern because of weather conditions on that day and the accident. Their GPS may have rerouted them, the sheriff's office told Arizona news outlet KSAZ-TV. If you've ever traveled up in northern Arizona when you get rerouted, sometimes GPS will reroute you out into a Forest Service road without knowing that weather conditions are harsh. The Arizona-based News Weather Service reported on March 18th that more gusty winds and a strong cold front will bring rain, snow, and continue to hit the area for the rest of this week. And welcome, Neat Scholar, over on the R site. I have heard that YouTube does not like you saying the R site, so I'm trying to be circumspect. But thank you so much. I don't know why I'm fully Southern today. Not even gonna worry about it, honestly. Maybe I'm just that. Welcome, welcome, 80s music man. So in our next story, you know what? We need a funny story. This is why men possibly pass away. Ooh, but a bald head and a good bald head. I love how I can't pay attention. A North Carolina man decided to take a more creative approach. Do you think he's a bear too? Just asking for a friend. Like he has a bear costume because he is in fact a bear in other places. Must get an interview with this man. These are important questions. Like, why is your head so beautiful? It's so good for a bald head. It's not divoty or anything. Mr. Mo is gonna lose it. He decided to take a more creative approach to tackling a persistent bear problem in his backyard by putting a cartoony bear costume on and somehow successfully scaring the unwelcome bear away. Video footage captured a man in Asheville bravely approaching a ferocious look. Okay, that bear was looking like he was trying to steal a picnic basket. Hey, he could be a teddy bear. It doesn't have to be a bear. I know I could actually. Jim! The man emerges from the side, attempting to mock prowl as he slowly approaches the wild animal. Now, the bear costume more closely resembled a college mascot than, a, real bear. I can't imagine why the bear was. He also had a stop sign for some reason. Is he also a crossing bear? He's like, look, I love Berenstein Bears and I want to be part of my community. With caution thrown to the wind, the costume man kept inching forward bit by bit, even growling at the black bear. Before he got too close, the black bear appeared to have been spooked and scampered away, but not before pausing at the edge of his property to stare down his faux counterpart before giving up and making his way back to the woods. Now the black bear has been spotted multiple times on the property, and the residents were fed up and decided to take matters into their own hands. Bears tend to have seemingly erratic responses to challenges in their paths. In July, a black bear and her cub opted to tear a car to pieces in Connecticut when they somehow became trapped inside a vehicle. How in the hell do... Okay, we need to investigate this story, because how in the hell does a bear get trapped inside your daggone vehicle? I'm gonna need to figure this one out. Oh, holy moly. I mean, I have never, and I can't even... if you guys have not checked out the last, it is a long stream, I will be making reels, but one of the gems of the Petty Express tour of the Stacey Rodriguez trial has to be yesterday's stream, where we learned that she spells ever like Evan, and I will never let it go, or even like Evan, and I will never let that go. Ever. Wild black bear and cub trapped in car shred vehicle to pieces. As they would. Trapped inside a car, an adult black bear and cub thrashed about. The horn was blaring and the radio was blasting. Outside the car, a second cub ran around in apparent distress by a Connecticut home. State Environmental Conservation Police were called by the startled vehicle owner on the morning of July 15th. They opened the door and two brown bears ran off into the woods and safe and sound with the third bear. How are you going to call State Farm? Look, I know this is going to sound crazy, but I need you to believe me because I do have pictures and I do have the wildlife conservation, you know, officers right next to me. I mean, you're going to need the officers right next to you. You're going to need footage of the bear attack on your car because State Farm's going to be like, what? No. Yes, probably. Let's see here. The car's interior, however, wasn't so fortunate. It was completely torn apart. The incident in Winstead, in the state's northwest corner, not so far from Massachusetts, was documented in photo and video taken by the car's owner. Now, they got into the vehicle. Officials believe that the bears got into the vehicle by opening a door, but it's not clear how the door then closed. Over a week, there have been 3 episodes involving bears in Connecticut that were publicly reported by the State Department of Energy and Environmental Protection. Another sign that the increasing black bear population in the state is, well, increasing. On Sunday, a nearly 500-pound or 227-kilogram black bear was struck and killed by a car on a highway in Torrington, the department said. Yeah, that car's never going to be the same. You might as well just ditch it. While bears have been breaking into cars, trash bins, and homes in the western U.S. for a long time, such incidents were rare in Connecticut and a few decades ago, but now they're a growing phenomenon. So, if there are black bears in your general vicinity, do not leave your car doors open. I think that is you know, the only advice I can give you. And good morning, Super T. Hope you're having a good morning. All right, I am going to need Lord Chippy attendance. Lord Chippy attendance, if you are wearing earbuds, gird your ear loins because I am bringing out Lord Chippy is here. He is loud, he is proud, and he needs to meet these people. All right, these 6 rejects from evolution, these people that contradict Darwin's thoughts of a, well, further evolution of humanity, these 6 people beat a captive man with a metal baseball bat, deprived him of food and sleep for a week in a disturbing case of abuse, prosecutors say. Yes, all of these cross-eyed, goofy-looking MFers, decided that they were better than someone, if you can imagine. Now, I can't. I mean, it's almost like they had that mirror from Sleeping Beauty and the new one, where it's like, no, Rachel Zegler's prettier than Gal Gadot. For reals. I'm super serial. Why does no one believe me? These genetic jackasses. 6 Ohio residents have been accused by prosecutors of holding a man captive for a week, beating him with a metal bat, and other extremely disturbing crimes. Aaron Bradshaw, 49, Austin Bradshaw, 23, Chance Johnston, 27, David Cessna, 26, Martina Esqueda, aka Martina Jones, 29 or 28. When you have an AKA at 28, you have not been living life right. I mean, you can have a nom de guerre, you can have a pen name, you can have a pseudonym. But when you have an AKA, you done seen too many damn popos, okay? That is not a life choice you want to make. And Michael Escuela, 28, faced felony charges of kidnapping to terrorize or inflict serious physical harm and being held at the Lucas County Correctional Center on $200,000 bonds. An arrest warrant for Aaron Bradshaw, police stated that the unnamed victim was allegedly kidnapped on March 24th and held against his will for a week. During that time, 6 defendants allegedly restrained the man, obviously tortured him and made him stand for extended periods of time. Now, local Toledo news outlet The Blade reported from the courtroom on March 24th that prosecutors told the judge the alleged victim had suffered serious injuries as a result of the abuse he experienced during his captivity, including broken bones, but the totality of those injuries has not yet been determined. Assistant City Prosecutor Andy Lestrada called the case extremely disturbing. While it was not made clear how the alleged victim escaped captivity, the arrest warrant stated the abuse claims came from him. Among accusations made in the warrant, the alleged victim told the police that he was only allowed to eat or drink once a day and only slept for 10 hours during the entire 7-day period. The 6 defendants also allegedly forced him to stand for extended periods of time. Now, the relationship between the alleged victim and the defendants was not made clear in the warrants, nor during their preliminary hearings on March 24th in a Toledo municipal court. 3 of the defendants, Cessna, Michael, and Martina, under the name Martina Jones, were also being charged in the Maumee Municipal Court. Cessna is charged with second-degree domestic violence, Michael is charged with second-degree felonious assault, and Martina is charged with second-degree felonious assault and DV to a household member in connection with the same case. Now, all 6 defendants had their bails set at $200,000 and are currently sitting in custody at the Lucas County Correctional Center. Yeah, I don't think these 6 could even write 200,000. And y'all, if you're wondering, this is the chick, just in case you was wondering. But there you go. Lord Chippy, have fun and take a whole 20 bottles of Tums after that, because, ew. Just, ew. Now, I never thought I'd say this, but the general zeitgeist, the general thought is that Gwyneth Paltrow is actually more genuine than Meghan Markle. Now, I did not have that on my bingo card. Look, y'all, I don't care to really cover Gwyneth Paltrow. She sells like vulnerable women crystals that help with god awful nothing, and you're supposed to put them in your lady bits, which if you need a crystal in your lady bits, we have gone so far wrong. And y'all trying to sell crystals for lady bits, this is how we get final form Jesus. This is how that happens. Y'all, I have been trying to warn you, but apparently what this boils down to in this article, because I'm not going to read a bunch of crap about Gwyneth Paltrow and stupid Meghan Markle, because I don't care about neither of them, but apparently Goop leader, Gwyneth Paltrow decided to, in her jams with no makeup on, which, bullshit. She definitely has some tinted moisturizer on and probably a bit of, mascara. I'm not gonna, ma'am, please. Anywho, apparently, she baked breakfast, just authentically, and it was supposed to show that Meghan Markle isn't authentic. Ma'am, I never thought either of you two heifers were authentic, so I really could give 2 flying flapjacks what you do. I mean, as long as you don't pollute my timeline, go with God, sweethearts. Like, go with God and be as happy as is humanly possible for weird, soulless Hollywood people. Like, that's what I feel about this article, to be real honest with you. I just do not care too much. So, as I said, both of you, God bless, go away and don't bother me, okay? Because if you keep coming up in my timeline, I am going to make fun of you. It's just what's going to happen. Now, this seems to be a Valhalla-centric morning show. Maybe it is, but somewhere, somehow, goats opened a gate and let a kangaroo loose in South Carolina. Again, y'all, what in the name of Hades is happening here? They wrangled the... Ooh, we need to go back, because, yes, officer. I'm just saying for the plot, we need to see that officer that comes into the frame just for a second. I'm not going to replay it, but ladies, if you look up UPI and odd stories, you can again look at the hiney on the police officer if that is your predilection. Now, I just did it for science because I needed to make sure that it was still a man. Mr. Mo is like, "What do you do in your on your story?" I'm like, "I look at people's butts." Police in South Carolina rounded up an escaped kangaroo, which turns out to have been released by a mischievous goat. Oh, for the love of Cheetos. The Horry County Police Department said on social media that the 4th Precinct Patrol Division responded to a neighborhood where a kangaroo was seen on the loose. Officers returned this pouch potato pet home, the Post said. Now, the animal's owner, Lindsay Richardson, said she was just woken up when a neighbor alerted her that her exotic pet was loose. Richardson said she had to go out in her silk pink pajamas to help the police wrangle the roo. Richardson later determined that the kangaroo had gotten out thanks to her goat unlatching a gate. Probably. I don't know. I have no idea. Now, y'all, I don't know if the coach would be able to say nothing after he had done this to my child. 'Cause y'all, I am telling you, this would not. Oh, this is a hell no. Like, y'all, I rarely get like super Twitter pated, but mess with my kid and see what happens. Oh, hell no. Let me watch that again, because let anyone but me come up and try to speak to my child like that, and I would never pull my kid's hair like that. You would have seen a streak of red, y'all, a streak of gosh darn red, of Dodge Ram It dead. Or red. Damn it, all to hell. I'm gonna get this right one day I will speak pretty. Oh, oh, hell no. Like you would have seen again a red and pale streak across your stream because no. Hell to the all no. No, you do not. No. Dodge Ram It. Longtime New York high school girls basketball coach Jim Zulu has spoken out following his firing for yanking his player's hair. Zulu's son Sam shared his father's statement to news outlets including WNYT. Quote, I deeply regret my behavior following the loss to Lafargeville Friday night in the Class D state championship game, Zulu said. I want to offer my sincerest apologies to Haley and her family, our team, and the good folks at Northville Central Schools and our community. As a coach, under no circumstance is it acceptable to put my hands on a player, and I'm super sorry. Or truly sorry. No, if this is your reaction to general teenagers, you need to quit. You need to retire. It is obviously not filling your soul. And if this is the way you coach, then you would be nowhere near my child and no parent. And I'm glad that the school stood up for this kid and got this guy out of there instead of, oh, he's on administrative leave while we deeply investigate this. And then you find that they've just been moved to a different GD school. Dodge Ram School. Now, Northville High School fell 43 to 37 against Lafayette on, is it Lafargeville or Lafayette? Look, on Friday night in the title game. I wish I could have those moments back. I am grateful for the opportunity to have coached girls basketball at Northville for the past 2 years, especially last season, which was a difficult time for our family, Zulu said. In the viral clip that led to his termination, Zulo, 81, walked up behind Haley Monroe and tugged on her ponytail before yelling at her face. Now, Monroe's teammate and the teammate that got her away from him, good job. Way to stand up. That is the female empowerment we need. Not the in your face, don't microaggression me, but hey, if someone's being an absolute douche canoe, you stand up and you don't have to be a butt monkey about it. You just take her away from that situation. Because dad's going to be there to make things right, okay? Or mama. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Now, Monroe's teammate stood up for her and fired back at Zulo during the altercation. Monroe looked to be crying before and after the incident, which came as they were watching their opponents celebrate at the New York State Championship. Now, Monroe is a senior and the program's all-time leading scorer, but had fouled out in the game. Good point. Oh, he looks older here. He looks like Ed Asner for some reason. Or not Ed Asner. Oh gosh, who was the guy that always was... Not Archie Bunker. He always roasted people, and I'm blanking on his name, but it was always really, really like cutting and mean. It'll come to me. Now, Zulo claimed that Monroe directed an expletive toward him, which led to the viral incident. The Northville Central School District promptly fired Zulo and said, not George Carlin, he was a bit before that, in the 50s, 60s. It's not Ed Asner. It's not Archie Bunker. Daggone it, I hate this. Don Rickles. He looks like Don Rickles to me. The district will be following up with the affected players and their family to provide support and outline actions that we're taking in response to this incident. Good morning, Kelly and Bond James. I am super proud of every one of these women and what they accomplished. Zulo said, I know each of them will go on to do great things and I wish them well. Yeah, I'm just saying that this old man would not be in the room anymore if my daughter was in the room. I would walk up and take my daughter off, and if I happen to allegedly in Minecraft shoulder, an old man out of the way and maybe let him know to go F off up to F off mountain and continue to F off until you get to fuck off cliff. Like this, no. He is lucky a father didn't come out and, because y'all, I do not, look, I don't like confrontation. I don't like violence, if you will. I don't agree with violence, but don't touch people's kids. Don't do it. Yeah, I mean, at that point, you are just red in front of a bull, and it is iffy as to whether a jury of parents are going to convict you. So don't touch people's kids. I think that's the moral of this story. You're welcome. Yeah, now, audio coffee, if he had done that and let me see if I get the terminology right, in a chav area, how would that have gone? Because I don't think that would have gone very well. Also, are chavs still a thing? I'm kind of still on last season of my big gypsy wedding. All right, this is sad, and we need to name and shame, and I am again going to get out Lord Chippy. He is very busy today, but gird your ear loins because, it's Lord Chippy. Now, this is just sad. I have never in my life understood, unaliven people. Again, when Mo is president, we're going to have dueling fields. Look, I can't stop people from being morons and joining gangs and want to have, shootouts just because someone, dissed them on a diss track or something stupid like that. I can't fix stupid. What I can do is make stupid away from, town. So we're going to make, a depression like when, you make an artificial pond, and that there is your dueling field. If you guys want to go, unalive each other because someone dissed you or someone talked about your mom and them, then that is fine. You go to the dueling field and you never ever affect any innocent people ever a flippin' again, or I will send you to Snake Island. That is my presidency. Because I am flippin' flapjack tired of this. Quote, I'm dying. Grandfather trying to pick up McDonald's Happy Meals for his grandchildren was shot dead in a gang-related crossfire, police say. Just screw you all sideways with a cactus. A big one. Texas grandfather Jorge Arbazia, 61, was just trying to pick up Happy Meals at McDonald's for his grandchildren when he got caught up in an unrelated dispute between two groups, according to Harris County authorities and his wife. One of the bullets unfortunately fatally struck him. His wife, Teresa Arbazia, was with the two children in their car. Oh, those poor babies. They had, sir, oh no, Lord Chippy is too GD good for you. I am setting you out in the middle of the trucking sun, and you will be covered in honey and fire ants until I see fit. And then I'm gonna get a glitter bomb, and then I'm gonna make you watch The View forever. Every single channel, it's just gonna be The View. It's gonna be every season of The View. This is beyond sad. Again, these kids, this man did nothing wrong. And these a-holes who just cannot live in society, just cannot do right, always seem to ruin it for us good, innocent people. So again, I say dueling fields. Because I'm done with it. I can't fix stupid. If y'all want to, fight and lose your lives and go crazy because someone disrespected you or wore the wrong color or flashed the wrong whatever ASL sign, you know what? You want to go destroy your life? That is a-okay with me. I am somewhat libertarian, so I do not care. But if you affect innocent people, you will be in an ISO cube until I see fit, with the only thing on The View or televangelist. I'm going to see that you get some kind of Jesus. But can the justice system get these people out? The people that just don't want to do right. The people that their passport has just never been stamped in the right thing. Like, could we just get them out? Oh, true. It would increase the ratings if I put it on in prisons. Ew. I don't want to help them. Now, she witnessed people running for safety out of the restaurant, according to CBS Houston affiliate KHOU. Now, she couldn't enter the restaurant or she would leave the scared children behind. He reportedly said, I'm dying, I'm going to die. His final words to her on March 16th. His wife said that he had been shot 5 times. Arbazia's final act was to make a sign of the cross and pray as he died, authorities said. What struck a nerve for our team, and I think was this: Mr. Arbazia's last gesture as he took his dying breath was him making the sign of the cross of Jesus and praying. Harris County Sheriff Ed Gonzalez said, "May he rest in peace." And I second that. May he rest in peace. May this grandfather who was just trying to get a treat for his grandchildren, and in this economy, that is, a seldom treat for some families. And these kids were probably looking forward to the toy. I hate people sometimes. Not the good people, the assholes, which is why I contend we need an asshole rapture. I'm waiting for it. I hope I'm not an a-hole. I try to make sure I'm not an a-hole to anyone, just in case the rapture happens. Now, the absolute piece of dumpster trash, human corroded water is Anthony Ridge, 24, and he was arrested for murder. Another person was reportedly struck in the incident but survived. To make matters worse, one of the shooters was using a Glock force multiplier equipped with a switch that allowed the weapon to be auto instead of semi-auto. These asses. At the time of the shooting, surprise, surprise, Ridge was also facing warrants for aggravated assault of a family member with a deadly weapon and reckless driving. But no, he needed early release, he needed bail bond because he's a good boy. Authorities vaguely described the shooting as gang-related. He is being held on a $1 million bond. They are asking for anyone with information about that shooting to call the sheriff's office or Crime Stoppers at 713-222-TIPS or 8477. Now, one of the groups involved in the shooting was a maroon SUV, and the other was a white sedan. According to authorities, they said they managed to track down at least one of the vehicles. He was crazy for his grandkids, Teresa reportedly said of her husband, George. And those kids' last memory of their grandfather, at least I hope they can take comfort that his faith was comforting him. But other than that, I just want to see this man. You know those Looney Tunes, rotisserie pits that they had when people got caught by, well, I don't even know what we're supposed to use as a politically correct, but the people of native origin. I would be okay with that. I mean, not seeing it, I don't want to see it, but just these people are ridiculous. Now, in a shocking turn and in a place where I don't really follow their justice, I don't really know their justice system or how it works, but there has been a record payout for the world's longest serving death row inmate. A Japanese man who spent nearly 50 years on death row before he was acquitted of murder will be compensated 217 million yen or $1.45 million in what his lawyer says is the country's largest ever payout in a criminal case. Iowa Hakamada, 89, was found guilty in 1968 of killing his boss, his boss's wife, and their two children, but he was acquitted last year after a retrial. Mr. Hakamada's lawyers had sought the highest possible compensation, arguing that the 47 years in detention, which made him the world's longest-serving death row inmate, took a toll on his mental health. Judge Kinyu Koshi, who granted the request on Monday, agreed that he had suffered extremely severe mental and physical pain. The Japanese government will pay Mr. Hakamada's financial compensation in what local media is widely reporting as the biggest payout for a criminal case in the country's history. Mr. Hakamada's case is one of Japan's longest and most famous legal sagas. He was granted a rare retrial and released from prison in 2014 amid suspicions that investigators may have planted evidence that led to his conviction. Now, last September, hundreds of people gathered in a court in Shizuoka, a city in Japan's southern coast, where a judge handed down an acquittal to loud cheers of bonsai or hurry in Japan. I thought bonsai meant tree. And I'm not trying to be a dumbass. I thought it was a tree. I didn't. Well, or maybe it's spelt differently because I know that there's a tonal thing for Japan and Mandarin, I think. So maybe the word means the same at a different inflection. Look, I'm not getting into languageology. I'm not good at it. Now, he has lived under the care of his 91-year-old sister, Hideko, since he has been granted a retrial and released from prison in 2014. Hideko fought for decades to clear her brother's name. Mr. Hakamada was working at a miso processing plant in 1966 when the bodies of his boss, his boss's wife, and their two children were recovered from a fire at their home in Shizuoka, west of Tokyo. All four had been stabbed to death. Oh, thank you, Audio Coffee. I knew there was a reason that I was not getting it, but I figured I was not getting it for a very good reason, that it was a different word. Now, authorities accused Mr. Hakamata of murdering the family and setting fire to their home, also stealing $200,000 or 200,000 yen in cash. Now, Mr. Hakamata initially denied doing so, but later gave what he came to describe as a coerced confession, following beatings and interrogations that lasted up to 12 hours a day. Ah, thank you, Jeffrey Montgomery. I knew that there was probably a deeper meaning. I do like to look up the deeper meanings, but sometimes I don't pay attention. I locked. In 1968, he was sentenced to death. Now, for years, Mr. Hakamata's lawyers have argued that DNA recovered from the victim's clothing did not match his, and alleged that some evidence was planted. Although he was granted a retrial in 2014, prolonged legal proceedings meant it took until last October for the retrial to begin. The case has raised questions about Japan's justice system, including the time taken for a retrial and the allegations of forced confessions. Yeah, so this is definitely something that looks like possibly it has notes and tones of Delphi, a coerced confession, prolonged solitary confinement, and Japan's prisons are no joke. Like, they do not play. So don't go out and be all Johnny Somali and then be all confused when you get, locked the F up. I don't know why people have this big, surprised Pikachu face when they go to another country, act like an a-hole, and then they don't realize that that country is strict. Maybe that's something you should research if you intend to be an asshat in a country. What are their rules? Well, now, this is going to be a bit New Zealand centric for this last little bit, but New Zealand's parliament gives after hours ghost tours of mysterious deaths, strange noises, and apparitions. This looks fun as heck. I would go to New Zealand. Is that one woman still prime minister though? Because I'm not going to go until then. Politics can be scary. New Zealand's parliament conducts after-hour tours of mostly factual legends that occurred in its halls, which center around mysterious deaths, unexplained noises, deadly storms, and ghostly apparitions. The weekly spooky tours, based on tales that have been circulating among political staffers for decades, are held in Parliament buildings in Wellington. The tour guides are dressed in Victorian-era garb and cover their faces in fake blood. This looks cool as heck. Quote, "This is your last chance to back out," guide Lisa Brand said at the start of a recent tour. One of the tour's stops is a library rumored to be haunted, which has been plagued by 2 fires, a flood, and a feral cat infestation since it was built in 1883. Although the staff still utilize it for research, night shift security guards and cleaners are said to be fearful of the library. Another topic on the tour is the ghost of former lawmakers said to have still haunt the place, such as William Larnock, who was found dead in a room in Parliament with a revolver in his hand. His skull was stolen and, close to a century later, found in a college student's bedroom. How do you find out that the skull is the guy that shot himself in Parliament, and how the hell did it end up in some frat boy's, dorm room? Now, Parliament's first-time librarian, Elwyn McGolt, whose death was partially attributed to him being overworked, is also said to haunt the halls. Urban legends have also been passed down about the basement, which includes stories of hands reaching out from stacks, songs coming from empty bathrooms, and the appearance of a ghostly woman in a mirror. Also, locked doors suddenly swinging open. The building was also hit by a terrible storm in 1968, sinking a passenger ferry and killing 53, which tore out its skylights and caused librarians to scale the roof in an attempt to protect their books. Quote, for mysterious and unknown reasons, they did this in their underwear. Well, they didn't want to get their clothes wet, and, they didn't have dryers back then, so I can't, well, wait. It's the 60s, not the 1600s. I don't know why they went out there in their underwear then. But there seems to be a history of people losing their pants here in this parliament. Possibly. Very interesting. Now, the guides give regular tours daily, but the spooky ones are only held on Thursdays when Parliament is not in session. It is understandable given the facts that tour guides are known to let out blood-curdling screams and spectral figures shriek while floating down staircases lined with portraits of former head librarians and prime ministers. The tour was a bit spookier than I expected, said visitor Holly Masters. There were quite a few deaths here, and I did not expect to find out about that. You went on a haunted tour. Welcome, welcome, MLS. Underwear covered a lot more than they do now. True that, true that. I never did think about, So, this seems to be a Madeleine McCann week. I don't know why, but Madeleine McCann investigators are racing to lay charges before a suspect is released from prison, according to the Telegraph. That being said, let's see. German prosecutors are reportedly seeking to charge the prime suspect in the Madeleine McCann case before he is released early from jail for graping a pensioner at a resort where she disappeared. Now, Christian Bruckner, 48, is suspected of unaliving the 3-year-old while she holidayed with her family at a Portuguese resort of Prada de Luz in 2007. He was seeking an early release from a 7-year jail term for graping a 72-year-old woman at the same resort in 2005, according to The Sun. Now, in October, a German court cleared Bruckner of unrelated grape and SA offenses in Portugal between 2000 and 2017. But he could face a retrial if an appeal is successful. All right, gird your ear loins. We need Lord Chippy. And I don't play Lord Chippy just because I have tried to follow the Madeleine McCann case, and unless they have really good circumstantial evidence that puts him in the area, cell phone, something like that, he had an opportunity. This was the same resort. I mean, I just see him as another creepy creep guy that is there until they offer me evidence that, weeds him out and makes him the only potential suspect of all of the shenanigans that were going on when those parents were not paying attention. Then I need to know, because I still kind of sort of think the parents might be involved, allegedly, in Minecraft. Now, that is my opinion. Yes, this is the little girl that disappeared over in Portugal. Her family was from the UK. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. You're right, Jeffrey Montgomery. Sorry. I am trying to think of only about a gajillion things. Now, I will tell you that I am going to go try to get my ADHD under control. Now, I don't know if God and the pharmaceutical companies have conspired to make anything that strong, but we will see what it does and if the doctors can help. Now, a source close to the case in Germany told the newspaper, quote, normally a move like his, a bid for an early release, would be laughed out of court. But everyone is very nervous after what happened with his grape trial last year. The court was surprisingly favorable to him. Bruckner's lawyers know that they need to go for this now, in case an appeal against his acquittal is allowed. That will create a new arrest warrant and he'll be stuck behind bars. Madeline prosecutors still have firepower that they can rely on, but they are nervous. As soon as Bruckner is free, he will disappear and likely never be seen again. We've seen it time and time again over the years with other offenses, and even his own lawyers have said it. He cannot be released. That would mean a disaster for the McCain case and the parents, Jerry and Kate. Why? That is why prosecutors are making their preparations. Charging over Madeline would be the only ace left up their sleeve for keeping Christian behind bars. Let's hope they don't need it. Now, German prosecutors confirmed to the Sun, a hearing on Bruckner was pending but declined to comment further. His sentence for the 2005 grape currently runs out in September. The court is considering an appeal against his acquittal of last year's trial, but if his bid for early release is successful, he could be free before a decision is made. The penal enforcement chapter in Germany, God, that sounds so very dirty. I wonder how it sounds in German. Does it sound very dirty in German? Will rule on the early release application, which will be heard in private. Any appeal on that decision could be transferred to the court in Seal, Germany. Now, Madeline's disappearance when her parents, Katie and Jerry, dined at a freaking restaurant that was across the gosh darn street, per what I was looking at. Like, how in the hell do you leave twin toddlers and a 3-year-old alone by themselves in a room while you go have dinner? That, I don't know how anyone excuses that. I'm sorry. Look, parenting bad things, I have made bad choices, but I have never left my extremely small children in a room by themselves so I could go party. So excuse me if I have a little judgment. McCain's. Or McCann's, sorry, you're not McCain's. That's a whole other people I have issues with. Now, this did prompt, an international manhunt and had unprecedented global media attention that has become one of the most notorious missing people cases of our current generation. Now, Bruckner was made the prime suspect in her disappearance in June 2020. German prosecutors claim to have physical evidence that Madeline is dead, but lack forensic evidence. Bruckner's associate, a petty crook known as Hegel B., claims he all but confessed to the unaliving while they were at a festival in Spain in 2008, but told him, quote, she didn't scream. Okay, Lord Chippy is going to get sick with this man. We just need to send him to the center of the sun. Now, detectives in Germany claim that they have additional witnesses, but have so far not disclosed who or what they know. Now, Bruckner denies any involvement in Madeline's disappearance. Ah. Well, in a update to our most intriguing gastronomic, jewelry story, the pressure has finally created diamonds. 2 weeks later, accused Tiffany thief has finally passed $770,000 in gems. Oh, no one is going to want to wear them earrings. But Tiffany, if you make me a necklace and or tiara with them, I don't mind that they are poo diamonds. I will clean the hell. I will get one of them ultrasonic cleaners. Like, look, if you need to donate them to a for-profit charity, Mo's House is right here to accept the poo diamonds. Because I'm going to need some earrings too. I hope someone gets a discount on those. I don't know how much you discount for, like, someone ate them and had to get them out. 2 weeks after a convicted thief allegedly swallowed valuable diamonds stolen from Tiffany & Co., the hospitalized suspect finally released the diamonds. They shall pass. The $100,000 worth of gems lodged in his stomach, the smoking gun has learned. Now, following his arrest last month, Jathan Glider, 32, was admitted to an Orlando, Florida hospital to await the expulsion of the jewelry. We are unable to state which medical facility due to security reasons. The spokesperson for Orange County Corrections Department said, however, there are 2 officers with him at all times. In the process, in response to repeated smoking gun inquiries about Glider regarding his health and whereabouts, the Orlando Police Department's public information officer initially said that she had no further information to share at this time. Now, Glider is pictured at the right in his hospital bed. On March 10th, Glider passed 3 of the 4 Tiffany earrings seen above. The final Tiffany piece was expelled on March 12th. In addition, on the 10th, Glider passed 2 unidentified earrings, though it is unclear when those items were consumed. Now, court filings have offered only vague references to Glider's status. Records contained handwritten notes like hospital or outside medical on the defendant's signature line of the circuit court document. The words unable to sign are printed. The February 28th arrest warrant was served on Glider at a street at the address of Advent Health Orlando Hospital. He was arrested on February 26th, about 6 hours after allegedly bolting from the Tiffany store in Orlando with 2 sets of solitaire earrings valued at a combined $769,500. Now, Glider, cops says, posed as a representative for an NBA player and was ushered into a private room to examine several costly items. As detailed in various court filings, Glider was pulled over by Florida Highway Patrol officers as he drove on Interstate 10 in Chipley, a city about 330 miles from Orlando. Now, troopers had received a BOLO alert from Orlando cops, reported to have yanked Glider from his rented Mitsubishi Outlander. Now, police believe that Glider was en route to Houston, Texas, where he lives with his 73-year-old mother. Glider, investigators say, was talking with a closed mouth and moving an object around using his tongue. He reportedly ignored instructions to open his mouth and started to chew and attempted to swallow what was in his mouth. Now, fearing that he might have ingested narcotics, troopers drove Glider to a local hospital to be medically cleared before being brought to the Washington County Jail. Now, at the hospital, Glider refused treatment and evaluation while stating many times that he did not want his stomach to be x-rayed, according to the arrest report. It was during the subsequent jail intake process that Glider was subjected to a scan that revealed foreign objects inside his body. While at lockup, Glider reportedly asked jailers, quote, "Am I going to be charged for what's in my stomach? The answer is yes, you dingbat. Duh. Good doy." Previously, while sitting in the rear of a police car, Glider mused to himself, "I should have thrown him out the window." While searching, Glider's SUV did not turn up jewelry. Cops found a variety of incriminating evidence, including price tags for one $609,500 and another for $160,000 that matched the exact cost of the earring sets stolen from Tiffany, seen above. Police evidence photo shows, let me get that up for you. Bloop. Yeah, keep the price tags on, genius. And I'm over here looking at AirPods. This man has a pair of AirPods. Okay. Now, charged with robbery and grand theft in connection to last month's Tiffany heist, Glider is being held without bond. A security court judge ruled Tuesday that he poses a threat of harm to the community and that no terms of release could guarantee his future appearance in court. A review of court and law enforcement records reveal that Glider is a prodigious thief, a convicted felon whose rap sheet dates back nearly 20 years and includes convictions for resisting arrest, assault, narcotics possessions, theft, and many, many, many more theft cases. He just can't keep his hands to himself. Now, Glider was convicted of numerous smash and grab robberies committed in Texas in 2001 and 2022. He would use a hammer to break display glass at pawn shops, stealing more than $400,000 in aggregate. He took jewelry, watches, and precious metals. During an August 2021 robbery in Big City Pawn in Houston, a customer ran out of the shop, retrieved a revolver from his car, and fired 5 shots toward Glider as he fled the business. Yeah, he has some bulbs to do this in Texas. Now, Glider jumped over 2 fences and escaped in a car that he had borrowed from his ex-girlfriend. The woman told cops that Glider claimed he needed a vehicle to go on job interviews. In December 2021, Glider snatched a pair of earrings and 2 Rolexes out of the hands of a female sales clerk at a Houston jeweler and fled with items worth $133,000. In February 2022, Glider appeared at a Tiffany location in suburban Houston, asking to see and compare large diamond rings, investigators reported. He subsequently ran from a private viewing room with 2 rings valued at $30,000 and $150,000, a criminal complaint alleged. Who is going to let this rando dude from out of the street go in and look at jewelry? Just, I don't know. Like, shouldn't they be able to check your accounts to see if you have any sort of monies? Like, I'm not a smarty pants, but you would think that would be the sort of thing you would want to do. It just... Now, in a 2024 court filing, Texas prosecutors stated that Glider is alleged to have committed several smash and grab type robberies and thefts across Texas, Colorado, and Oklahoma. He is the subject of fugitive warrants from Texas to Louisiana. Glider is also facing felony and fugitive charges in connection with the February 2022 robbery of Legacy and Cold Jewelries, a Colorado Springs firm. He is wanted in that matter, having failed to return to court after securing a bond. Following his arrest while in custody at a Colorado hospital after being shot by a jewelry store owner, Glider was somehow able to free himself from handcuffs and climb into the ceiling of the hospital in an escaped attempt which failed. He later told police he later was told that police would be collecting his earrings as evidence, and Glider reportedly swallowed the jewelry. The Colorado incident occurred 5 days after the inaugural Tiffany heist. Daniel Zarob, the 30-year-old store owner, estimated that about $300,000 in diamonds were stolen from Legacy & Co., according to the Colorado Springs Police Department affidavit. Now, Glider's trial run at Tiffany & Co. in Houston and his other assorted robbery convictions cost him nearly 3 years in custody, including an 18-month state stretch that ended in mid-November 2024. 3 months after walking out of lockup in East Texas, Glider appeared at the Mall of Millennia in Orlando, pretending to represent an Orlando Magic player in the market for some expensive Tiffany & Co. jewelry. The fresh from prison gambit ended with Glider in handcuffs and then a hospital bed where law enforcement officers stood to see if he, in fact, would pass these diamonds. So there you guys go. That is an update to that. I hope you've enjoyed Mornings with Mo. We will be doing more of these kind of stories, a mix of headlines, true crime, and all the shenanigans that the internet can provide. Please press the like button, share with your friends if you think that they would enjoy a morning update with some happiness, some snarkiness, and a little bit of Moisms. That being said, I do have you guys redirected over to the Petty Express. We will be watching the Lori Vallow trials, or at least the hearings. You know, they're short and sweet, and I do have a kiddo appointment this afternoon, but I hope to get my final thoughts on the Stacey Rodriguez case and a highlight reel up this afternoon. And then maybe this evening we will start on the, roommate trial. I will say that evening streams this week may not be as prevalent. I am trying to be a good wife, be a good mom, and make sure the family is okay. So, trying to spend more time real life. So if you can't get enough of Mo, Mo gets a little bit more unleashed as conductress Mo. And you guys, oh my goodness, I look so my new ring that I got, it well, once I take the little koozie thing off, but it fits my middle finger. I don't know why I am so intrigued by that fact, but I am intrigued by the fact if I can get this little sizey deal off. I love when I say things to you guys and I'm like, wait just 1 second, I'm having a spaz attack back here, which, is not generally unheard of for me. But oh my Bob Ross, it fits on the FU finger. I love it. Probably shouldn't enjoy it that much for that reason, but it is the FU finger and I get to wear a, FU ring. That being said, I do like wearing it on my ring finger, but I did discover last night it did fit on the FU finger, and I was like, hells yeah. Any hoozle. I will see you guys in a little bit. So if you would like to join, if not, you are not beholden to stop by my channel for the Petty Express. It is a bit snarky. It is a bit smassy. It is a bit smart-assy, so it's not everyone's cup of tea. I do hope I see you here tomorrow morning. And I will see you. Oh, doggone it, Nick, you just came in and I'm about to leave. But if you would like to follow me over to the Petty Express, that will get started in about 15 minutes. It is Lori Vallow. I have my baby ponytail. I'm going to go get my Kool-Aid lips on. And then we will be back to watch Hatchet Face. Lori Vallow. Be Vallowy. I refuse to daybell that woman. She wants it and I won't do it. Bye, you guys. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, but carry a can of bitch fire and a sassy mouth, 'cause kindness no longer equals doormat. Bye, you guys.